There's a YouTuber out there, her name is, shout out to me. She put up a YouTube video talking about Storytime.
Oh man. If y'all didn't watch it, go watch it.
I was like, why are you so obsessed with me?
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Debbie, and if this is your first time here, this is my channel, Miss Deb. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm a Nigerian and Irish content creator who lives currently in London, and this is my little space on the internet where I love to create content about fashion, beauty, lifestyle, and this is my first storytime video ever. I just thought, it's coronavirus! Coronavirus! Everybody's looking for content. At the time, it was so hard for me to talk about, but I can finally talk about it today because honestly, I frankly don't give a shit what anybody has to say. Like, it's a free world. I'm going to be sharing with you guys today one of the craziest things that ever happened to me. Grab your tea, grab your coffee, grab your Moscato. You're gonna need it for this one. Don't spit it out. It's going to be about my boyfriend's psycho female best friend who was a crazy obsessive stalker. This girl stalked me. She made a video about me on the internet. She dragged me on the internet. She was doing up detective and she continued to stalk me after. So Ivorian Doll on Twitter asked the question, what was your worst friendship betrayal? So I answered the question, and of course it got like some likes and stuff because people were like, rah, like people were responding, but it was a true story. So I was like, huh, I never ever told you guys about the story. I really love Aliyah J's story times. She actually inspired me because I love how when she does her story times, it's been a couple of years, she's over it. I'm going to be sharing with you guys my lessons and how I healed from my trauma or something that happened to me at a really dark time in my life, how it impacted my mental health and how I healed from it and what happened. Okay, so the main characters of this story are C, who is my ex-boyfriend, his best friend at the time, Gigi. One of my best friends at the time is also in the story. We're gonna call her Jojo. So the whole story took place on a beautiful little island called Island. One girl in my church, let's call her Danielle, she goes to my church. So Gigi, she was a new-ish YouTuber. I knew her face because in Dublin, everybody kind of knows everybody. Anyway, I would see Gigi all the time. She even worked in the shop. You know, I think I even asked her to give me a discount in BT. BT is like a harassed. Harassed is like Saks Fifth Avenue for those of you that are American. We're not friends or anything like that. Danielle and Gigi invited me to a house party. They didn't even have my number. It was one of them months where you talk to people on Snapchat, Instagram. This was months before I met C, who later became my boyfriend. So I went to the house party during that summer at some point. I was dancing, I was having a laugh. Doing the splits is my party trick. Like whenever I'm drinking and I'm having a good time, I do the splits. It's like what I like to do. Like if you know me in real life, my personality really shows more in real life. I guess Gigi was quite shocked that, you know, I'm just a normal person. Fast forward to that same year, around December, I went on a solo trip to Venice and Amsterdam. I was single. I'd never been in a relationship before. I was like about 23 at the time. The day I came back from my solo eat, pray, love, single, I'm trying to love myself kind of trip, I got booked to do makeup in County Meath, just outside Dublin. I was like tired because I just got back from a solo trip, so I was like I don't know. I gave them a really high price because I was trying to deter them from actually booking me because I was tired, and then they were like, oh no, I'll pay, like so I drove now to County Meath and knock knock, the door opens and well, hello there, sir. That, ladies and gentlemen, was how I met my ex. So I was doing the makeup for his little sister.
Hi.
As soon as we met, it was quite like, it was a connection, it was a spark, it was a chemistry, you know. I have to say he was a really good boyfriend, like 90% of the time. Was a really good guy, very calm, very chilled. Anyway, we started hanging out. I have a master's in fashion buying and management, you know, so that's what I actually do, 9 to 5. Yay me! I had my final exams in January. One random day, C texts me and is like, oh, I'm at my friend's house, do you want to come over? And I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, come, send the location, whatever. I didn't even ask many questions, if I'm completely honest. I was just assuming, because he was a guy, I assumed the friend was a guy. I knew he was friends with Gigi, but I didn't know that they were best friends because I was only getting to know him. I didn't really speak to Gigi at all. He sends me the location, and I went to the location. So upon getting there, I walk in. I remember like it was this like door, and then there were stairs, and I walk in and it's a studio apartment, and so the bed and the kitchen room, everything was in one room. I didn't even know whose house it was until I walked in. Oh, this is Gigi's house. It was cute, like it was a cute little cozy little room. Like, can't hate on the person's grind. Like I like what she did with the decor, if I must say. Like I was telling him that, oh, I know Gigi, she's cool, she has a little YouTube channel, she's I see her around town all the time. He was saying that, yeah, him and Gigi are friends. Now to him, Gigi was a friend. To her, he was her best friend. I don't know where she was going, but she was not in her house. I thought your friend having your house keys, you would have given him permission to bring anybody you wanted to the house, and I thought that you would have been informed either before or after I was in your house that I was in your house. None of that happened. She wasn't informed. She never even knew that I was invited over to her house, and that was just it. She just never knew. At no point did my brain tell me, oh my god, you shouldn't be in this girl's house without her permission, because I didn't know I didn't have her permission. As I was invited to come over to the house, do you know what I mean? That was when I now realized that, oh, it's actually this girl's house, she's not actually here. And it was then later after that I realized that she never even knew. Long story short, that day we watched CSI or one of these crime shows, and obviously we sat on the girl's bed and we were like obviously like making out and whatnot. Okay, things happen, people make out. I just want to mention to you guys that I was a virgin. I go to my house now, I'm minding my business, I'm living my best life. I didn't think much of it. And so I was studying. I didn't see him until after my exams. I was driving somewhere at nighttime around 10 o'clock and I had a car accident. So basically a car was coming towards me. I just remember seeing a light and swerving to the left, and as I swerved, instead of going into the bush like I had planned in my brain in the split second, my car instead climbed the bush and started to somersault down the road, and literally my car was written off, and I just managed to come out of my car without any injury. I think the only thing is I got a little cut on my finger here, and literally God just kept me. While I was on bed rest for 2 weeks, he came to come and see me, make sure I was good, all of that. He expressed to me that when he mentioned to Gigi that I had had an accident and my car had somersaulted 4 or 5 times and I almost died, he said that she had no reaction, that she just sat there on her phone and she said nothing. This girl literally was hoping that I would just die simply because I was dating her best friend. So I followed Gigi on Twitter, and shortly after I met C, I noticed her tweets were a bit, you know, oh, I miss my best friend. Oh, isn't it sad when people change? When I get a response from him, it's like getting a response from a robot. She never even knew was that her tweets, those subliminal tweets. Instead of me to be mad that, oh, why is this girl tweeting that she's missing my man?
What's this girl?
I literally screenshotted it and I sent it to C, and I said, C, I think she misses you. Go spend time with your friend. Now, if you look at the timestamp on the screenshots, 2017, I was telling him to go hang out with his best friend. He told me that he was gonna fix it, and he tried to fix it. He tried to speak to her, she started to ignore him. He tried to talk to her, she wouldn't respond, she was just mad. So during this time, Gigi was spending more time with Danielle. And Danielle also had a problem with me. So Danielle's problem with me was also because of C. So C and Danielle were in a situationship long before he even met me. So she had agreed to be in a situationship with C. Then she fell in love. The girl caught feelings. She got her heart broken. Bear in mind, me and this girl are not friends. And I didn't even know about anything to do with her and C, because C is a kind of mature guy. He's not gonna start telling his business about something that happened in the past. Danielle told my other friend, let's call her Erica. So Erica came to come and tell me that, oh, by the way, Danielle and C, they used to be in a situationship and he broke her heart. I wouldn't trust him if I were you. He seems to be a fuckboy. You don't want to trust him because he broke her heart, and the same thing might happen to you. Bear in mind, Danielle did not tell me herself, because me and Danielle are not even friends. We don't even talk. We only see each other in church. We have a quick catch up, and once in a while after church we hang out with a group of people. So Danielle was hoping that because Erica had told me that I would come back to her and ask her for permission. Guys, I kid you not. She wanted me to come to her as a woman. She wanted me to come to her to ask her for permission to date C. You can't make this shit up. A girl I went out with one time.
Shame on you. You are a bad person.
Now she was going around saying I was sly, I was a snake, I was whatever.
Why are you lying?
If you don't have my phone number, we are not friends. I asked my friend that I ran into, can I get Danielle's number? At that time, I didn't like stress, I didn't like drama. Now a few months, it's been about 3 months, I'm, finally coming to terms with my accident. I'm getting a new lease on life. I'm finally deciding to, attempt to, do some form of online counseling. And on the 25th of April, I get a long message. Let me use my microphone.
So you came to my home, slept in my bed, in my sheets, and didn't have the decency or the conscience to even change the sheets. How dare you come into my home, my sanctuary, my private space, without my consent or knowledge. But then you see me in public, you smile to my face like a real two-faced tout. You go to church and pretend you are somebody with morals, values, and respect. Not only for yourself, but for others too. Little did we know you're nothing but a disrespectful tramp. So what did you like the most in my house? My family pictures on the wall? My shoe collection? I bet you even opened my wardrobe, you sick twats. You're nothing but a snake in designer clothing. You can buy Gucci bag, but you can't afford a hotel room. You carry yourself like you have class, but in actuality, you are trash. Literally, the gum beneath my shoes. Are you not ashamed of yourself? Can't wait till people find out who you really are. It's going to be fun.
Do proper investigation. Ask.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the beginning of the madness.
A weak bitch talking loudly, big bad body girl, yeah, that's blocked.
So she started doing up Inspector Gadget, trying to find out things about me. Obviously I was unaware at this point. She was calling different people, calling. She wasn't getting any luck in finding out anything about me. After not having much luck, she finally found some, information. Contacted Jojo, knowing Jojo is one of my closest friends. But obviously she was in her mind smart because she knew that Jojo was a bit of a beg. Obviously she knew that Jojo was a bit of a weak link. So if you're gonna get to someone, you have to go for their weak link. Do you get? So off of Twitter, Gigi and Jojo and a few other girls, they formed a group chat and they decided to go to lunch together. Now behind the scenes, Gigi had contacted Jojo because she wanted to find out whether or not I was in her house or not, because she suspected that, C had somebody in her house. She claimed to be his best friend, but he only ever drank white wine. He didn't even drink red wine. 2.5 years, I never saw this guy drink any red wine. In her mind, they were best friends. She threw him a surprise party for his birthday that he didn't even want, but he was grateful. But it wasn't about him. Everything she did for him was always about her, and that's why at the end of her friendship with him, she could just do what she did to him and not think about the fact that they had been friends for years and years and years. I'm going to give you guys a very brief background on Jojo. So Jojo is a girl that I'd known for about 10 years. I knew her from when we were young. I'm going to try and be as nice as possible, but I'm going to also understand that this is my narrative and this is for me. It's my right to share my narrative on my channel. This is my space. If anybody has a problem, you guys know my rule. You can all get Transformer. I'd known Jojo for about 10 years. She was a very awkward child growing up. She wasn't allowed out much, and she didn't have the best reputation either, because she was very, what's the word I would use? Liberated. Let me use the word liberated, which by the way is not shade and is not necessarily a bad thing. It meant that she was very self-aware. She knew who she was in that aspect, and she just wanted to be herself in a world where a lot of people did not want to be themselves in a sexual way at that time. They wanted to just hide their actions, whereas she didn't really hide her actions, and because she wasn't really hiding who she was like some other people, she developed a reputation, and it meant that a lot of people didn't really want to be her friend and things like that. If I'm gonna do a story time, I have to be 100 with you guys. When I was first friends with Jojo, I did not rate that girl. Like, let me not lie. I'm the type of person that if I'm someone's friend, I ride for them. I do everything for them. I'm not gonna let you not look your best. I'm not gonna let you not act your best. Like, I was very, very like, goody two-shoe, I could come across as uptight, not fun, all of that growing up. So Jojo would have found that quite annoying, because every time she did anything, I would be like, oh my god, don't do that, oh my god, don't do this. She was very insecure, whereas I was overly confident. So we were very polar opposites. I was a talkative, she was more reserved. And over the years, Jojo would do some really stupid sly things. Like, when I think back on it, she'd done a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have been friends with her. So in my mind, we had this bond because when we were teenagers, she had experienced this illness that a family member of mine had experienced, and she had overcome it just like my family member. So in my heart, I really had a soft spot for Jojo, and I always just wanted to be there for her because I felt like she'd been through so much in life. So whenever she would do anything to me, I would just make excuses because, I felt like, oh, she's been through a lot in her life. She doesn't really have anybody else. Like, I would always go to her house, and I was literally the only friend that ever went to her house. Whenever I would become friends with someone, she would become friends with that person too, and then she would run off and start doing up the most with that person without me. If somebody is doing this when you're friends with them, it's a sign. Literally, there was one time I went to lunch with another YouTuber, and she came to drop lipstick for me as a birthday gift. The next day, I seen her in town doing up tourist guide or something like that. Obviously, she's phoned up Jojo. So she phones up Jojo, and Jojo starts singing like a canary, saying, oh yeah, Deb was in your house, blah 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 blah.
Little snitch, you get no props.
I don't know how you went from I was in Gigi's house to telling her my whole entire life story. She got into a group chat that she formed because she wanted to go to lunch with people that were not me, because I literally was her only friend. Me and Jojo were like 5 and 6. Everywhere I went, Jojo was there. If I was going to a party, I would invite Jojo because I didn't want her to be left out. Whenever it was Jojo's birthday, I would try to do something special for her. It was her graduation. I was literally the only one that was there. I'm a wig maker, so I did her hair and I did her makeup because I wanted her to look her best. I wanted her to feel special. So although at the start of our friendship, when we were younger, I wasn't the best friend to her, but as we got older, my love for her grew and my bond to her grew, and low-key she was my favorite friend, but I never really said that out loud. Like, she was literally low-key my favorite, and she was kind of like the calm to my storm, if you know what I mean, because I'm a very big personality. So somehow through Twitter, Jojo has decided to link up in a group chat with some girls that she barely knew, including Gigi, and they went for lunch at this restaurant called Beef and Lobster in Dublin. She goes to Beef and Lobster now, and she didn't tell me she was going to any lunch with any girls. Because the whole time in her mind, Jojo knew that what she was doing was wrong. Nobody's saying that you can't have other friends that's not me. If you want to make friends outside of me, that's perfectly fine, because I had other friends outside of her. But she knew what she was doing, because what she was doing was shady. Years later, she claimed that it was an accident. Everything she did was out of insecurity, which is fair enough. But I told Jojo about this message that I'd received from Gigi, and I sent her screenshots. This whole lunch and this whole meeting up and group chat was after this message. So Jojo chat so much shit about me in this group chat. Jojo went to lunch and for 2 hours bashed me in code, referring to me as Sister Gucci, Sister Gucci, Sister Gucci. Now, I don't know what a Gucci bag has to do with anything. So that's how I just went on Twitter and I just saw a picture of Jojo and Gigi after this text message that I sent to my best friend. And then I call my friend who was also at the lunch, and I'm like, yo, what's the story with this? Whatever. That was when I was being told that Gigi is making a video about you. Gigi was at lunch with me and Jojo was egging her on. Jojo was telling her to make this video in the group chat, talking about how you have bad skin without makeup, and Jojo knew my insecurities about my skin because I have really problematic skin. And then Jojo went as low as to mention that I hide my sister Rachel because I'm ashamed of her. I've mentioned many times that I have a sister called Rachel. Rachel has a very mild special needs. Like, you wouldn't even know if you met her. You wouldn't know if you spoke to her. You wouldn't even know. So she even went that low. It was just so disgusting because this was somebody that I'd known since I was a child, like a teenager. And for them to stoop so low. And Jojo was somebody that when she would do stuff when we were growing up, I would stick up for her when she had nobody. If all my other friends didn't want me to be friends with Jojo, they'd be like, why are you friends with this girl? Even the guys would tell me, why are you friends with this girl? After a night at Rights Venue, when Rights Venue used to be popping before it closed down, Jojo went and disappeared that night, couldn't find this girl anywhere. So I went home because I couldn't find her. She just slipped up. And then next day I'm getting a text, oh yeah, I'm alright, what, blah, blah, blah. This girl went and slept with somebody else's boyfriend. By the time she got confronted for it, I had traveled to another country. They confronted her, I wasn't even in the country. Guys, when I came back and Jojo told me what had happened, guys, ask me who sent me to be calling. How dare you come and accuse my friend? How dare you come from my friend? How dare you? Guys, when I tell you I was ready to fight for this girl, like the way that I wouldn't even fight for my own self. That was the way I was carrying Jojo's friendship on my head. The whole thing was my fault because Jojo had done so many things. I can count like 5, 6 things Jojo had done. And I would just let it go. But anyways, today guys, I've forgiven Jojo, but this is just the story. So I have groups of friends that people wouldn't even know we're friends because you wouldn't even see us on social media. And that's why she got caught out when she was doing what she did. at that lunch. So I'm looking at a picture of Jojo and Gigi and these girls at lunch. And I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? I'm confronting her now because I'm like, why are you at lunch with a girl that sent me such a message like this? Guys, my heart was breaking. Like, my heart was breaking. My heart was breaking because I was looking so stupid. I had to ask my own friend, why are you at lunch with a girl that sent me such a message? Like, the fact that I had to be asking her. When I confronted her, she's like, oh no, we planned the lunch way before and I just went. She just basically lied through, she lied through her teeth, and I was just looking at her like, what? So I didn't even know about the group chat at this point. It wasn't until after the video came out. So Gigi at the lunch was telling the girls how she was going to make this YouTube video exposing her best friend and his new girlfriend who had sex in her bed.
No evidence in that case, no forensics, there was no trace.
Oh my god. Oh my golly gosh. I never expected it. That was how your girl started in the story time. Bare indirects. This girl was tweeting bare indirects. Danielle was tweeting bare indirects. Another Irish YouTuber was tweeting bare indirects, putting up frog and teacup. Bare people that didn't like me were coming out of the woodworks. The whole video thing just triggered me into a depression, and I thank God that I'm here today to tell you guys about this story, because I remember the day that she released that video and she uploaded it online, and another YouTuber retweeted it with a frog and teacup, and I remember I was walking by the Liffey. I thank God I can talk about this today. I remember feeling very, very dizzy and holding onto the rails, and in that moment I just wanted to just kill myself. I just wanted to jump. Like, I was extremely disturbed. It felt like everybody was laughing at me. Literally, so many of my friends I blocked a lot of people because they were all speculating, gossiping, and at the time they don't even know why they got blocked. They just got blocked randomly. Well, some of you might be watching this video today, now you know why you got blocked. It's funny because people support you when everybody's supporting you, and when everybody's hating you, they'll jump on the bandwagon. So I was already in a bad place after my car accident. I and the person that was there know the truth, but now this person has come out with this story because they wanted to get a few views. So our views went up from like 150 views to like 4,000, 3,000 views. So it was something she did because she felt like I was relevant at the time. Fun fact, I've never thought I was relevant. Like, to me, I still have a long way to go. Danielle never ever shared Gigi's videos prior to that. So suddenly, Danielle became the chief promoter of this video because I didn't come to her as a woman.
Messy.
That was what happened, and I was in a really bad place, and I was extremely suicidal. It really almost pushed me over the edge. Obviously I was upset, I cried. That was what she wanted. She even tweeted, we all know she cried. She would constantly, you know, stalk my Instagram, and that was when she started stalking me. Would get like calls from this no caller ID number like almost every single day. It was so psychotic. And then one day she didn't hide her number, and that was when I checked it on WhatsApp only to see her face. She literally was calling me non-stop like a little psycho stalker. So anything she saw on my Snapchat or whatever from her fake accounts, she would make up little rumors and start spreading them up and down. Guys, she was such a stalker, like literally. I went to a party with my boyfriend and she created another rumor that, oh, we were in the bathroom doing all sorts. Like, it was so crazy to me. And you know the funny thing is, when I think about it, it's kind of like, oh my god, even if I did have sex in her bed, so?
Please, is it a crime?
Are you the first person whose bed that they had sex in? Like, even if I was at a party and I was in the bathroom with my boyfriend, so?
If I attack you, you know if you stand with your leg.
Remember I told you about the party I went to with her at the start? Started going around telling people that, oh, I just act on my channel, I act on my social media, that I'm so different in real life. If you'd watch my vlogs, if you watch my old videos, if you have me on Snapchat, you have a really good idea. And on Instagram, you have a really good idea of how I can be when I'm out having fun. So anyways, this girl started saying that, oh, if you see the way she was doing the splits. I went to this award show, and someone else was giving the award in my category, which was like weird to me, because anyways, I'm not even gonna get into that story. But basically, I congratulated the winner on my Snapchat. This girl does not follow me on Snapchat. It's been about a year. She goes on Twitter and she tweets, because everything she says, obviously people send it to me and stuff. She goes on Twitter and says that I didn't congratulate the winner, blah 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 blah. She was just always stalking me like a psycho, because when I tell you, this girl was sick. She was sick, always coming up with something new because she was in love with her best friend. So she hated me from the first minute she found out that I was seeing him. That friend, to anybody that would listen, because she was clearly obsessed with him, she was clearly in love with him, and she passed on that stalker obsessive vibe onto me. And then she decided to dedicate a whole video to me. People were speaking about the video on their podcast. People that were my friends were shading me on Snapchat. It was everywhere. Everywhere I went, people were asking me about this girl's video about me, asking me, was it true? She basically wanted to tarnish my image, tarnish my brand, tarnish everything that I built at that point. The funniest part is, when I made that Rihanna video and stuff, that was one of my better days, because I really was in a dark place for about a year and a half. This week on my Instagram stories, I was speaking about trauma and how people that cause you trauma, it's kind of like they stab you and they injure your heart, they injure your mind, they injure your soul, and then they go on with their life while you're bleeding, and then they ask you to stop talking about your injuries and stop talking about how they caused you all this trauma, and they dismiss it and they call it a falling out, and they say stuff like, oh, they've moved on. But you know what they say about empty barrels? I'm really grateful for the experience, because of the trauma that whole situation caused me, although I was in a very dark place, although it was the worst time of my life, although I was cyberbullied and everything, and although I was dragged at that time and a few other times after that, I'm grateful in the sense that it made me a very strong person. It allowed me to realize that the things people say about you on the internet, it doesn't matter. People are entitled to create their threads. They're entitled to be hateful. They're entitled to do whatever they want to do, because it's their life and it's their thing, and it's just a reflection of who they are. And that's one of the lessons that it taught me. The whole situation also taught me to watch which friends I trust. The only reason I found out that it was Jay was not even because of the fact that she went to lunch and she did all those things. It was the fact that one random day I was just in town and I just paused as I was walking in Dublin City, and it just hit me. The minute it hit me, I got a taxi all the way to her house. Our house was far outside Dublin, about 45 minutes. I got a taxi all the way to her house, because at this time I didn't have a car. I said to Jojo that Gigi already told me that it was you that told her that I was in her house, and that told her that I had sex on her bed, and I told her all sorts of lies that were not true about me. And then that was when Jojo finally admitted that she did it. Gigi never told me it was her. I just guessed, because I had a feeling it was her. And also, I don't really be talking about my business up and down like that for anybody to be making up any rumors or lies about me online. I don't keep many close friends, although I know many people. So yeah, so she admitted it, and honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that I had so much respect for her parents and her siblings, honestly speaking. Yeah, so Jojo's mom gave me a lift home, and obviously she just spoke to me. Probably, although I still had love for Jojo, which was really strange, but it was just because we were friends for such a long time, and she was a part of my life and part of my development, you know, from, you know, being a teen into being an adult. So like, I just knew our friendship was over, and it was a case of me having to love her from afar. It took me about 2.5 years for me to forgive, but I think it took me about 2 years to forgive. But eventually I forgave her up until the end of the year, when she was still shading me, she was still liking stuff That was when I called her out by her name. I called her out by her government name. And the thing about me is, guys, I don't know how to throw shade. I only know how to throw the whole tree. Prior to Gigi's dramatic actions and stalkerish vibes and psychotic behaviors and all her dramatics and acting like she was in love and hip-hop, I used to always see her in town prior, but after, I never saw that. Guys, I never laid eyes on this girl again. She made sure she was in hiding, because a lot of people are literally all talk on the internet, but in real life, in reality, they don't really have much to say. Although I took all of Gigi's actions to heart, a lot of people were just really just laughing at Gigi because she just made it quite obvious that she was so in love with her best friend, who never claimed her as a best friend. He just claimed her as his good friend, because he's a very low-key, private person who doesn't like trouble. He's very gentle, very quiet guy, likes to keep to himself. And then here goes his best friend. The poor guy's only crime was that he dated an influencer. Do you know? Lessons that I learned from the whole situation was, firstly, you are entitled to heal from your trauma in your own time. You don't owe it to anybody to heal on their time. Even if it's been 10 years, 15 years, whatever, your healing is your healing. Like, that's why people that have been raped, it takes them about 20 years to talk about it sometimes, because the events are just so traumatic for them. So you don't owe your healing to anybody but yourself. The second lesson it taught me was that don't just be kind to people. Sometimes it's not everybody that deserves your kindness. I was so kind to Jojo. I'm not saying I was the perfect friend, but 90% I was a good friend to that girl. Like, and although everybody else rejected her and they didn't really accept her for who she was, me that I did the most, I was the one that got stabbed, like, and thrown under the bus when I would have jumped in front of a bus for her. Another lesson it taught me was that the things people say about you on the internet, they don't even matter. Like, your narrative of yourself is what matters the most. Never let anybody make you feel like you need to be silent. You have a right to express your story. You have a right to share your experiences. That's another thing it taught me. It taught me that nobody is worth your happiness. You're a beautiful and strong woman, and there's nothing you can't face. Like, what I do now is I draw strength from that traumatic event that happened to me. But I'm not gonna lie, if I ever meet a guy that has a female best friend again in my life, I'm gonna pick my shoes and I'm gonna start running for the mountains. I'm gonna start running for the hills.
Why are you running?
Like, it taught me that people that you think are your friends can turn on you at any time. So many friends turned on me at that time, and it taught me the realities of human nature. Time in my life where I should be so happy because finally I was in a relationship, but instead I was dealing with obsessive psycho best friend drama. I was dealing with losing my own best friend who stabbed me in the back and betrayed me, and then I was also dealing with my car accident, and it was so crazy. And then I was now like falling into a depression. I feel like she kind of knew that I was already in a bad place, so she knew that it was gonna be the perfect time for her to do what she did. Some people are very delusional and they think they live in a love and hip-hop Atlanta world, whereas in reality, people are just looking at you and laughing at you and thinking, why are you so obsessed with somebody's boyfriend? You claim somebody is your best friend of 5 years, and you claim to have gone on holiday with their family, you claim to love them like your brother, you claim to have no feelings for them, but you go on the internet and slander them, slander their name, you forget all your good memories, you forget all the times that you did stuff for them, you forget all the things they did for you, you forget all the care that you had for them because you wanted a few views on the internet and you wanted to have clout so bad. But the funny thing about people like that is they call other people clout chasers. They they think other people are obsessed with them, whereas they are the obsessive, illogical, and delusional one. She got her 5 minutes of clout and, you know, whatever. She finally got a few thousand views. All I do know is that life has a way of balancing itself out in its own time. You know, I feel like whatever seeds you sow, you will reap one day. Just because somebody is quiet doesn't mean a story is true. Just because somebody is quiet doesn't mean that they're weak. Just because somebody is quiet doesn't mean that they're stupid. It just means that sometimes they want to choose to be mature. One thing I will not allow is somebody tell me when. This is my channel. If I want to talk about something after 10 years, I would do it. And what? And what? Do you know what I mean? Whoever wants to do a Twitter thread is welcome. Whoever wants to at me, my at is at them is Deb. All these things are welcome because I've realized, I've been through them enough time to understand that if people talk, they're just going to talk, and then they'll shut up. That's the way humans are. Humans are very fickle. The only thing that matters is your happiness and your life story and your progression. On my Instagram stories, I had to talk about trauma. And a lot of people have had horrible friendship betrayals, just like I have, and it's been very difficult for a lot of the people. When I asked the question, a lot of people were talking about events that had happened 10 years, 15 years, even 20 years ago. And that's just to tell you how trauma affects the human brain and the human heart. Guys, even in your pain, there's beauty in your pain, because your pain makes you so much stronger and you realize that you can face so much in this life and you have strength from within and from God. I hope you guys never run into any guys that have any crazy female best friends. If you do, sister, pick your slippers and start running for the mountains before they kill you, poison you, whatever. In the words of Cardi B, they do anything for clap. If you learned a lesson in this story time, comment it down below. If you've ever had a traumatic friendship betrayal, comment it down below. Share your story. I want to interact with you guys. If you have a video suggestion, comment below. If you guys want to hear more story time, comment below. If you enjoyed this story, make sure you smash that thumbs up button and the subscribe button, guys. We don't bite unless you want us to. My name is Miss Deb, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!
And I was like, why are you so obsessed with me? You're so lame. Even mention your name.
What if she took something in my house? What if she stole something? I was like, come on sis. Really sis, send me your address. I'll send you a new bed.